So your son Sebastian, how old is he?
He is 22. So he's working on the propulsion system for the Dragon capsule. He did 2 internships with SpaceX when he was in college, and then they hired him on full-time when he completed his master's degree. And he basically has continued the work that he started as an intern. Yeah, so they break things up into teams, and within the propulsion group, there is a team that's dedicated to all of the control valves that basically control the rocket engines once they fire. And so he is doing design work with those control valves as well as all the qualification testing. So in his second internship, he qualified the control valves and made sure that everything was going to work according to NASA's specifications. And his report back to NASA was what actually triggered them to announce that they were going to move forward with the manned space mission. Well, not single-handedly, but he had a pretty critical role in making sure that they got approval for it to move forward. He did, all of the qualification testing on the valve systems for those engines, and those are critical because they are what enables the spacecraft to separate from the rocket and return back safely if there's an incident. So that was really the main testing that had to be done, was that it would be able to survive an accident and return the astronaut safely. Yeah, there is a lot of pride. I'm really happy that he's following his passions, and when I was young, I was very much into rockets and space flight myself. So it was actually an early dream of mine to be able to work for NASA back in those days. My path went a different way. I went more on the electrical side, but he had a knack for mechanical engineering, and that's what he decided to do. A lot of that came from his interest in cars, working on old cars that I like to buy. And he just continued that, and also he had a very strong interest in space flight too. He's a big Star Trek fan. So he really followed that, and he, even in high school, he wanted to work on rocket propulsion. So I am an optical engineer. I actually have a degree in optics and a degree in electrical engineering. So that's the kind of work that I do at Corning. That's what brought our family to this area. I'm originally from Connecticut. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it. There'll be some excitement, some nervousness. The astronauts know the dangers. All of the engineers at SpaceX know the dangers and risks. So, everybody's excited and cautiously optimistic, and they're also hoping that the weather is going to hold out. I think the last time I saw it, they said the 60% chance that they'll be able to do it today. So the car that sort of started all the interest in working on cars was a Subaru SVX, and I actually still have that car. Bought it 10 years ago. And Subarus, they need some work. So we've always tried to do as much as we could on our own. And, he was always out there helping me with it, and that started an interest in cars. Actually, he was a member of their Formula SAE car team at Cornell. And that's one of the things that got him to SpaceX, because there were connections between the Cornell racing team and the SpaceX engineering groups. So he got to meet people, and that's one of the things that opened the door for him. But he just loved being part of that racing team and designing and building a race car every year. So I guess that is one of the side things. But working on our car was the thing that started it. And of course he learned how to use his hands and actually build things with his own 2 hands. So all of that's paid dividends for him.